We're going to talk about using ChatGPT for ad copy. And in 2024, if you're not using AI, then you really should get started here. So I want to talk about actually leveraging not only ChatGPT, but Claude using Perplexity.ai. So I'm going to share my screen here and we're going to take a look, and we're actually going to write some ads for this brand called Kizik. So they sell shoes where you can easily slip them on. So I actually really like this brand a whole lot and would be pretty awesome to work with this brand. But we're going to write some ads for them. Now, one thing is I created these GPT in ChatGPT and then a custom space within Perplexity.ai using Claude 3.5. And that way I could really train it on some of the best copywriters out there, as well as other different parameters that I'm looking for. So I'm actually just going to type in the website here, and great. So it's going to ask me some questions on what is the most important keyword I want to emphasize. I'm going to do the same thing over here for Perplexity.ai. So this screen is Perplexity.ai using Claude, and this screen is ChatGPT. So I want to use easy slip-on shoes as my keyword. And then the cool thing about the way that I've modeled Perplexity is it will actually go out and do the research and actually give us the headlines and characters type and then the copywriter inspiration. So it'll already create for you all of these ads, which is pretty cool. So with ChatGPT, you kind of have to work with it a little bit to do the research. So I'm going to say, can you browse kizik.com to get USPs? Now, I don't recommend just doing this. I recommend seeing what the AI comes up with and then doing your own deep research into this. I also believe that Perplexity.ai actually does a better job in its research. And so I would recommend using Perplexity for that as well. So now it's going to create the headlines on ChatGPT, and we can compare both writing. Now we can see all these famous copywriters like Gary Halbert and Eugene Schwartz and Dan Kennedy, and all of these taking inspiration on their copywriting style. So let's actually have it do the descriptions as well. So I'm writing a description, please. And we can see here, slip-on shoes in seconds. This is actually good. I like that. Hands-free shoe comfort. Shoes that step up style. No laces, no hassle. Feel great. Walk effortlessly. Shoes you'll love to slip on. All of this is fairly good. And I think this is a good starting point. I still think that you need to have a copywriter look over all this stuff, and it can at least give them a starting place in being able to generate some really good copy. So your go-to easy slip-on shoes, another good one. Try hands-free shoes today. If you're not familiar with Kizik, that's actually a fairly good one, and it really meshes a call to action with some of their unique selling propositions. So I think that that's pretty cool. Actually, a really nice way to do that. Hands-free shoe magic, step in, no hands needed, zero bending, 100% comfort. I'm doing Perplexity.ai now. Slip on, walk out fast. Kizik shoes, reimagine, grab life, no laces. Shoes that move with you. Hands-free revolution. Kizik effortless comfort. In this case scenario, I actually kind of like ChatGPT better. Now, the last time that I actually did this, I actually liked Perplexity.ai better. So it's really interesting, but it's using all of these different types where you're using a USP, which is a unique selling proposition or a call to action, social proof. So I actually recommend not only having ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude, in addition to that, adding in documents, PDFs to train the AI on the different brands or products that you're working with is going to be super essential. Shoes that work smarter, Lace left life hack. Interesting. Hands-free heel technology, no bends, just slide in. And then some of the descriptions here. So put a comment in the description now if you'd like to receive these custom GPTs on ChatGPT in this custom space within Perplexity. And I'd love to hear your feedback on this. But again, I think that this is a starting place. I would take all this, bring all of this into an Excel doc, Google Sheet, and just start to iterate on top of this. I actually customized the ChatGPT in order to customize a CSV file for the Google Ads editor. So it'll work directly in bringing all of this stuff in. So I'm going to say I have some different buyers personas. One would be elderly. The second would be pregnancy. And the third one is going to be children. All right, so let's see what it comes up with for these different buyer personas. So I think the more specific that you can get, the better it is. So great. So it's doing the descriptions, and then we can actually have it do the headlines here after. So can you also do the headlines for each of these buyer personas? So again, I think the more specific that you can get, the better your ads will perform, especially when it comes to really going after your specific buyers. So let's see here. Headlines for the elderly, slip-on shoes for seniors. I'm sure that some would appreciate that, and then others would not totally appreciate being called a senior. It kind of depends. And then hands-free comfort for all, supportive and easy shoes, step into comfort effortlessly, and no laces, just comfort. I feel like these aren't as strong as I would like them to be. So I'm actually going to I think this is actually where Perplexity.ai ended up outperforming ChatGPT in the more specific buyer personas. So let's see what that comes up with. Descriptions for pregnancy, while Perplexity populating Kizik shoes make life easier for moms to be, slip on with no bending or laces. So it's actually pretty funny. Kizik shoes, we found it because my wife was actually pregnant and she really wanted them. And I think this is Kizik, if you're watching this, someone from Kizik, this could be some great, at least starts to some descriptions for folks that are pregnant, because it's a real pain being pregnant. So okay, so headlines for children, easy shoes kids will love, slip on, fun every step, hands-free shoes for kids, that's fairly good, tough, fun, and hands-free shoes that keep up with kids. So definitely some interesting stuff. Okay, so this is very interesting. So I probably need to be more specific in this AI to say, I want you to go after the following user personas, but went off on its own tangent. So I have some different buyer personas. Please write more headlines and descriptions for these buyer personas. So that way we have to be a little bit more specific. We're with Perplexity after the initial creation, which is fine, but just be aware of that. AI will do its own thing unless you are specific with it. So, okay. So comfort designed for you, easy step, no hassle, senior friendly footwear, walk confidently again, shoes that understand you. And then for persona descriptions for elderly, designed for seniors, effortless comfort meets stylish support. I think that's actually fairly good. Comfort with support is pretty important. Mobility reimagined, shoes that make every step easier. Trusted by seniors, that's actually good from a social proof standpoint. And then pregnancy buyer persona headlines, comfort for expecting moms. I actually like that. Pregnancy friendly footwear, that's also good. Support every step of motherhood. That's cool. And then shoes that grow with you. Yeah, I like that one a lot. That's unique. Maternity comfort redefined. and then some pregnancy persona descriptions designed for moms-to-be, comfort meets style during pregnancy footwear that understands your changing needs, gentle support for every stage of motherhood, and shoes that adapt to your pregnancy journey. So, and we can look at all this other stuff here, but this AI, I've trained these AI tools not use any of the AI common words because I don't want it to sound like AI. And I trained it on some of the best copywriters in the world in order to go after something that was less generic. I would say that ChatGPT does a fair job on the first ones, but honestly, I use different AI models in order to figure out what is giving me some of the best and most unique ad copy that's out there, at least to start out with, and then going through that as we go through. But I hope that this helps. Drop me a comment if you want the links to these. And as always, please let me know if you need any help or have any questions. Hey everyone, this is Artur McClellan, and I've actually become the guy that agencies hire when they get stuck with your ad account. This is the Google Ads and Meta Ads Strategies podcast and YouTube channel where I actually talk about how to grow your business. These ad platforms are constantly changing, so I not only go through strategies that I'm currently using, but actually challenges that I've faced through many of these ad accounts that I manage. So most of my content, I'm actually sharing my screen and walking through how to practically diagnose and make decisions. So if you're listening on this podcast, make sure you hop over to the YouTube channel so that you can watch along. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a review, subscribe, share so that these platforms push this out to more people who are trying to figure out the complexities of driving traffic and how to actually grow their business.